Hello, everyone. We
Hello.
didn't do any research on Crystal Marshall, so we're
That's
doing
not
this
true.
instead.
I did some research and I realized it would be better if we just did this episode later because I just don't think it would be appropriate how much I have to talk about Teddy Long when talking about a lady who didn't even, I don't think, won the Diva search. Did not.
She came in fourth, and she dated Bobby Lashley for a bit.
That's right. They have two kids and they broke up.
That's sick. She broke up with him well, if we couldn't do the episode, we shouldn't do the episode.
Yeah. Dylan, keep your secret. Keep your treasure.
So we have another announcement, I guess, is that we're just not going to talk about wrestling anymore. We're going to take a break and then talk about regular stuff because
we're going to come back in April.
It hurts our brains to keep rephrasing they're all pedophiles.
Yeah, here's the thing. What we realized in doing the wrap-up episodes is we realized it turns out what we hate is the monsters in wrestling and not each other. So we are going to start some sort of new podcast on all the same streams. All the episodes will stay up. Don't cancel your Patreon. Whatever you do not fucking cancel the Patreon. Do not cancel the Patreon. So we're gonna try and figure out what this podcast.
No, we'll start a new. We'll start. We haven't even talked about this, but we'll probably start a new Patreon just because
we will be having two Patreons. The old Patreon, that money will be directly going to me. The new Patreon, we will be splitting. Dylan signed a bad contract.
Yeah, we are going to be funding the wrestling door. The wrestling Patreon will have no new content, but we will be keeping that money for right-wing causes. Right-wing causes.
There is a man named Andrew Tate. He needs bail money.
Have you guys heard of puppet governments? Because we want to donate to some puppet governments.
Hello, I'm looking for an Eastern European country with a real hard plosive leader. You know, something with a license. I want to give them money.
Yeah. We're going to be talking more about porn because in my fucking recollections, we get really passionate when we talk about porn, which is really funny.
We certainly do.
We always made a point to be like, oh, this girl's a diva, so we shouldn't be misogynist, and then just be like, here's the porns I like.
Exactly. Let's not be rude to her name is Becky Lynch and she is the man, but let me tell you something about Kendra Lust. She's a real
Kendra Lust.
Fun fact, Kendra Lust. I was in Canada doing a comedy festival. Kendra Lust was brought up 3 times. 2 comedians had seen her in an airport, and then a hotel staff member just went, I've heard of her work. And I got to tell you, I wanted to climb inside my own mouth. When just a random person's like, let me tell you, I've jacked off too. Woo! You're in Canada, baby.
This is good because that's another thing that's lost to time is that porn stars used to like travel around to strip clubs. Like before OnlyFans, they would travel around to strip clubs like they were comedians, and now that's gone.
They were called feature dancers, and I remember there was a strip club / diner near my house in Montreal, and they had a feature dancing sign from when Jenna Jameson did a feature dance like 7 years previous, and they still put it up like she could be there that weekend. And I always was like,
that's what comedy clubs do, though. There's a picture of Chris Rock. The one time Chris Rock was in town filming a movie, and he's like in a Snuggie doing a set, and they're like, you never know who could pop by.
Do you remember there was a real period of time in Canadian comedy where there was a certain amount of people had he's open for Robin Williams, or he's open for,
yes, because that night he was at Spirits.
He was at Spirits, and another time he was at the Rivoli. The other one is there was a big spat of people that had open for Zach Galifianakis, and that's apparently from a bar show. Zach Galifianakis walked by, did the opening set, and then a bunch of comedians tried to jump on so they could get that credit in Vancouver.
Well, you could also just lie. Like
you could just lie.
You've lied on every resume. This is what I don't get about comedy. You've lied on every resume you've ever had and gotten these jobs. Why don't you just lie? Like just lie. When does lying become bad?
Have you ever been caught in a lie?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Doesn't stop me.
Doesn't stop me either. I'm lying right now.
Yeah, we're not doing that. No, we are starting the show again.
Yeah, we are not.
No, did I ever tell you about the Costanza-esque? This should be the first episode of. So I never told. I worked at this company. It was a subsidiary of Shoppers Drug Mart called Metasystem Pharmacy Limited.
When did you do this?
22. I was 22.
Oh, this is when you worked at that catering company that was so much of it was just spent. Yes. This is how good / bad.
I smoked cigarettes as you would have. I would have had to write if I put on my resume that I worked at a catering place. Smoked cigarettes. I'll tell you, would have had to have been on the list.
This is what Dylan. I have never been. I used to stop by for smoke breaks with you. Do you remember this? Because I used to write in that library down the street. this is how good slash bad Dylan is at his job. He got all his work done, but most of it was smoking with
Fast.
me on Bluer.
Well, because they had 4 hour minimums and they didn't want me to just go home. So I would like do all the work in an hour and a half and then just like be on the internet. And they would be like, "Do you want to do this?" But they would never. It's officey, so they would never be like, "Do this." They'd be like, "Hey, could you get around to this?" And I'd be like, "No, man, can't." I'm
Here's the thing that
swamped with looking up sports scores, dude.
you have a huge advantage in that you don't have resting bitch face, but when you're reading something on your phone, you have can you believe this shit face? Like you literally I like
I
for
have glasses, so people take it
years no,
seriously.
but it's more than that. It's more than that because you literally are like that. Like you this is you reading about fucking David Loiseau or whatever fucking
Yeah.
UFC fuck you're reading about. You just
Wow, he's important. Yeah, that's good.
and you're literally just like and what the reads are like he had some Monster Energy drink and then tried a triangle and then it didn't work so good. And you're like, doesn't work so good. Like it's just fair.
What was the okay? So I told these people I never told them I was a comedian. Made sure I never told them I was a comedian, and then I just told them I was going to George Brown to be a chef, and then yeah, and that was why I was quitting because you quit for a year, they wouldn't pay you out your vacation pay if you took the you could take a vacation, but like I never took a vacation. I just stacked up the vacation pay till it was like 3 G's and then quit and got the money.
Yeah.
Like I quit. My final day was December 31st. Like that's how I calculated. Anyway, so I did my vacation pay thing, and then they were like, "Oh, what are you gonna do now?" And I forgot I told them I was going to George Brown, and I was like, "Well, I'm sailing across the world." I said that for some reason, and then immediately I got a job at Second Cup, and the chief financial officer of second
Oh
of the
fuck
company
yeah.
came in and saw that I was working at that Second Cup, and they were like, "I thought you were going on a boat across the world," and I was like, "Well, I miscalculated. I need some money for the boat," and that was the last time I saw her go into Starbucks from then on.
That's
It's
really
too
good.
awkward. I was like,
I see your awkward story. I raise you this. I'm living in Toronto, Kensington Market. Our neighbors have a daughter who is also an actor, friend of Brian Hatt. That's important in a second.
mhm.
She mishears me when I said, "Oh, I was just in New York for a visit." She was like, "Oh, you live in New York?" And I, for some reason, just didn't correct her. And so then, for the next 2 years, she would come and visit her parents, and I would just be at my home smoking or outside. And every time she'd be like, "I thought you'd live in New York," and I'd just be like, "I keep a place here, you know." I'm like, "We're like, I don't know why I kept the lie going." To the point, I ran into her with Brian Hatt, and she said to me like, "Oh, don't you live in New York?" Walks away. Brian's like, "What the fuck's with that?" I had to explain the whole thing to him, and he was like, "I'm just gonna tell her the truth." And I was like, and for some reason, I was like, "No, I want to die. I want to keep this going. It's gone too far now. Then the truth is actually way more insane."
Yeah, then you have to explain to them why you made up this weird lie, and you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
I mean, like it's gonna take okay, the year was 1985. I was born, and then, there was one parent where there should have been two the whole time is kind of the whole thing, and also not anything to
I'm
do with it at
very
all.
insecure, so I
Yeah,
lied.
like I don't know. Like I was raised in the 90s where some teachers just tried to attack you psychologically. Like leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, do you think that's a thing? Do you think that's how are teachers different now? I guess iPads and like iPhones, obviously, and
Because
smartphones.
I think that teachers aren't just like weird smoker dudes with a solo apartment who are just kind of like I'm gonna do like no
I
one's
was
doing.
a janitor. They are.
Are people still doing gigs just to get the fucking pension? Because I would remember that was a big thing
Yes.
of like, oh, that's sad. I mean, who's really going to be laughing? They're going to be able to retire at 60, and you and I are going to be doing, we're going to be
And also they can
watching
get
the fucking
baller
wrestling.
shit because they never. So this is another thing was explained to me is like because you that job is so solid and essentially like even if you stab someone, they'll be like, "Wow, I'm sorry that person got in the way of your knife because of all
Yeah, of
the unions are so fucking sick."
course.
You can just like buy really expensive stuff and everyone knows like we'll pay it back. They're
Can
never
we
gonna
talk
stop
about
getting this money.
Can we talk about quickly how healthy your COVID panic was? Most people fucking baked sourdough or thought they were going to go get an OnlyFans. Dylan just got a union gig for a year. And like, it was the
Yeah.
most reasonable breakdown I've ever seen in my entire. Well, I now work for this group of people that treat workers, I wouldn't say with respect, but they have ability to advocate for themselves, not seen in stand-up comedy, especially in Canada, since never. And then like show business came back and you were like, I clean no sinks. See you in hell.
Oh yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I guess that's the confidence of just being the fucking oldest man in a family where you're like, so my plan for money, I'll step outside and make it clear to the universe that I want some. That doesn't, sorry, I was just accepting the money they gave me.
Yeah, no.
Like when you, no one, this is obvious, but like just one day of being a tall white guy for everybody is what you need. Like I'm not
Guys.
even, I'm bald. I walk around. People just think I know things. Honestly, mean this. Everyone is shocked when I can't like fix their computer. Still,
I've
Great.
started now to just memorize the floor plan of the Target near my house, because the amount of people that walk up and are like, "Hey man, I'm just looking to like I measured. Do you think this is going to fit underneath his desk?" This happened today. I was trying to buy I was dressed in a sleeveless Motorhead shirt holding sparkling water. I looked like a fucking DJ, and a guy came up to me and was like, "Hey man, do you think that," like he was trying to do like the inches versus centimeters conversion, and for some reason he's like, "This guy definitely knows it." And
yeah,
and I,
because
by
you're
the
in a
way,
sleeveless. With now, sorry to cut you off, but like with startups being a thing, you can dress
oh,
like anything as long as you're like, as long as you're an old man that looks annoyed.
but here's
Or
the
like,
thing of
who
now,
knows?
like having now met some people in startups, because I don't know if I told you this. So San Francisco and like California, there's this weird additional comedy rub, which is a bunch of tech bros are taking their money and just starting weird comedy venues all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And when you meet them, what you realize is like we're doing an impression of I know where all the open micers from stand up went. They went to Silicon Valley. And it's that, so it's not that they dress like anything, it's that they dress in that very specific, I'm a shithead / I want to see if I can feel the stripper's pussy through these shorts kind of vibe. You
That's
know what I'm
sick.
saying? That's whatever, like you can tell a fucking Silicon Valley gentleman, because you're literally like, look at this fucking fat slob shit fuck. And then they're just getting into the most ludicrous vehicle. It's a whisper.
Yeah, that's something that I can't do anymore is go to strip clubs because it's just like
The last one I went to was when was at your bachelor party. I never have
that's
enjoyed
mine
it.
last two.
Yeah. I don't
You
get it.
never enjoyed it.
I've never enjoyed it. I
I
want
have.
oh
I have, buddy. I fucking love it. I used to, but then you're like, oh god.
I can't. It's also something about it in England where I'm like, yeah, the like I feel like you've been hurt. Like you know what I mean? Like
Well, England takes it like a step further, and it's like in North America, it's kind of like, ooh, they're gonna rub on you a bit. This could be fun, and there's like a power given to the performer versus like in England, it's literally like, which makes sense, but that you literally go in there, and then as soon as you come out, it's just a bunch of guys being like, "You want to buy a whore?" And you're like, "Well, this is too." I liked it when it was more subtle.
yeah. For 50 extra bucks, you can fucking kill her. And you're
Yeah.
like,
No,
who gets
but there'd be
that
the
money?
dancers outside, and then there'd be different like dudes who just like pimps or whatever outside being like, "You wanna?" It's like it's different when it's a girl being like, "Do you maybe another dance?" Rather than like, "You wanna fucking get your cock sucked, you fucking small dicked fuck."
So
Don't go home to your family. That's the main thing, as they say, is don't go home to your
oh
family.
yeah, they do say that a lot. I remember when we were leaving, they put a bunch of strippers before the door and they're like, "We're better than the people that you live with." And I was like, I don't know if that's true. Um oh, that's right. Dylan didn't pay for premium Zoom, so we only have 9 minutes left in this chat.
Wait a minute. Can we just do a do either of us know how to use Google Meet?
What's Google Meet? No. What is
It's a
that?
different one. It's a different fucking one. Anyway, continue.
Um what was I gonna say about strip clubs? It's coming to me. Here it is. I also think that the problem when British people do North American things is they only take certain elements from it and then do it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like tacos in Britain, they're like, it's a small fucking thing. Put a bunch of shit in it. That's a taco. And you're like, yeah, but like specific, you're not, don't put cake in it. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with strip clubs where they're like, it's a room where people think they might be able to fuck the women. We'll make more money if they think they can actually fuck them. We'll make even more money if they think they can actually kill them. That's the thing with England. Like, England never gets the right details of the thing to make it good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just I'm like, you fucked this. How did you fuck? And then other things they get so right, like mustard. You can't beat English mustard. Apply
English
yourself.
mustard's insane.
It's the best.
The whole country is so afraid of spicy food, and then that one thing
Is the biggest motherfucker. Like, it's literally like, it would be like, oh, I'm very vanilla sexually. Of course, I have a butt plug that's 8 feet wide in my asshole right now. Of course, that's the equivalent of mustard v the level of spice on everything else. Everything else has a dash of salt, and they're literally coughing from the flavor, and then they're eating ham sandwiches that taste like the sun.
But yeah, what's another fucking thing? I don't know, man. Crystal Marshall was a piece, you know what I mean?
Whoa!
There you go.
What do you think these people? So I was thinking about this with wrestling.
Mhm.
What is it like the first job interview after they leave it? Like, you know what I mean? Or like the first week in a new job. Crystal Marshall, she's now working in like, she's now just working in public relations for Planet Fitness.
Did you ever do no, this is and we've talked about this before. Crystal
We've been
Marshall,
talking to each other for 8 years. We've talked about everything before.
this is but like this is very clear is that we you without looking it up, you know what Crystal Marshall's doing right now. She's
Selling
Instagram.
her feet on the internet. Oh no, is she?
Instagram, and she has an OnlyFans that is like bikini pics.
So you're saying she's OnlyFans bikini pics, some sort of Instagram influencer. That's what you're. Do you know this, or are you guessing?
I know this.
Did you take
All she has online is like she was in WWE. She basically became a mom. She got the fuck out of wrestling because women are naturally smarter than men in that way specifically. Every single dad is every guy who gets into wrestling is like, I'm the Red Rooster. I was born this way. I will die this way. I don't fucking kids can't hold me down. And every woman that has kids is like, let's make sure these things are 5, and then I'll once again go on the road and have the honky tonk man ask me where I piss from.
Okay, couple of things. One, do you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
2, doesn't have an OnlyFans, just has a Snapchat and an Amazon wish list. Which I'm going to say this about Crystal Marshall.
Amazon wish list that's a hot girl move.
She is getting straight to the fucking point. Yo,
buy me some shit. I'm not giving you anything.
Yeah, buy me some shit because you think I'm pretty. Fuck you, creeps. That's a 40-year-old woman right there. Just like, yo, you're gonna show me your tits? Nah, fucking buy me a fucking Vitamix, you motherfucker. That's fucking living, baby, right there. You know what I mean? Just the intensity of a fucking.
Well, let's just do the Crystal Marshall episode anyway. This is it.
We are doing the Crystal, guys. We are multitasking here as the rest of review burns, and from its ashes will rise potentially a podcast called the John Dillon Review. We haven't worked out any of the kinks. All we basically did was decide that we will keep this podcast going in some fashion. If anything, we'll be talking about come more. So
yeah, and I'd like to say this publicly. She is so hot, man. It's crazy.
Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, someone clip that.
I'm on her friggin'. If this is my looking at explore page face. If everyone could look at it right, this is fucking crazy. She was Catwoman for Halloween. That's obnoxious. You know when someone is so attractive, you're like, maybe I'll just kill myself. What am I doing with my life? Good Lord, look at this woman.
I'm gonna say this right now. I feel really bad for her kids for no other reason than I guarantee they're both going to college, and then mom's getting.
Dude, she's more attractive now than she was in WWE by far. Because in WWE they made her wear not make her wear shit, but
I mean, dude, definitely made.
Let's fucking jack off here.
Whoa!
This is Let
me take a look. Let me take a peek here.
Isn't that crazy?
Good Lord. How do you take your coffee? Okay, I just want to point out.
Dude, that's also the fucking dude. That's a 40-year-old woman. Look at those abs. Dude. I didn't say listen to porn.
Okay, in this video.
Oh, by the way, look at I want to read out the comments.
Do not think I wasn't about to just talk about.
It's like women supporting him, and then Cody, and then Scott Hall's kid going, Lord. Fuck.
Fucking. Yeah, man.
She's got 20,000 followers, and my favorite thing about her Instagram is like mostly it's dudes being like, whoa, and then like just some fan, the most liked comments, like Lashley could have had all that. What a fucking loser. And then
Oh
that's
my God.
always the most liked comment.
First of all, there's a bunch of videos of her kids playing video games, which is Bobby Lashley's son playing video games. And I guarantee you, Bobby Lashley has said something fucked up about that, which is like wearing a suit. And he's like, I thought you fucking pissed standing up, son. And he's just like, what's that, Dad? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know how to do this.
It must be fucking crazy. It must be fucking crazy for those kids. Like, they have no choice but to have abs. You know what I mean? Like, those just
Yeah.
genetically are just like, oh, I've been in a closet avoiding the sun and eating nothing but Twinkies for a really
Mom.
long time. I have the most nuts abs.
Mom, how'd you meet Dad? Well, he was representing the former president in a match, a sexual criminal who was represented by a nice man who was pretending to be a savage from the mind of Rudyard Kipling. And at the end, the former president was then given what's called a stone cold stunner by a wife abuser. And then for like 5 years, he just pretended he was going to be an MMA fighter, and then I married him. I don't fucking know. He had cum gunners, and it was 2008. You little bitch! What do you fucking want from me? You know what I mean?
I will say the weird thing about it must be like I know my mom was older when by 90s standards.
So she was
20. Your mom was how old?
30.
Yeah. So my mom was 31, your mom was 30. So these are professional women who plan their shit out.
That's right.
But like a lot of the moms in my town were like in their 20s when they had their kids.
Of
so
course.
Like, well, this is the thing is that like I don't know what it's like, but like, you know, those kids are going to stay. You go to Crystal Marshall's house for dinner, those kids are going to be like, "Can I live here now?"
Yeah. Can I live in your bed naked? I mean, what? I'm 7.
But dude, like that's crazy.
Hi, my dad said he wants to be your mummy. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. The dads in the neighborhood just like yeah. Well, you have to like tape your eyes to just like not look, just look at her eyes.
Dylan,
the ground is fire. Just like saying the
I
ground is fire.
I just have to say this. You're a father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. Now, when you are like at like fun kid events, right, with the other adults, right? If there's like a real babarooski mom, is there a dad that points it out? I assume absolutely. Like you're at the park and there's like one hot. Oh, really? See, I figured there would be one.
You don't have the time. So here's the thing. My son is 2. I don't have time to look at anything.
Yeah, that's true. You're literally
it's
just
like
you're just looking
at
it.
I go like, well, that lady gams a clock over there and he's registered for a firearm and he's now using it. You know what I mean? Like within that time, he's like, it's legal, Dad.
Yeah.
Tell me I can't.
Yeah.
Tell me I can't.
When did you?
I've got this TikTok account and the 4 seconds you were fucking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I do it.
Hey, Dad, here's something you should know about me. If you give a 2-year-old fentanyl, they can talk for a bit. Also, take a lot of fentanyl.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, yeah. All right, we're going to come back with such little, with more staring at Crystal Marshall's Instagram account.